Welcome back to The Jump. It is time for America's favorite game show, Something, Nothing, or...
Nothing,
everything. Amin, Elhassan, I can always count on you, Amin. And Chiney, Ogwumike still in the house, from their house. We're just all about the house today. In a memo, guys, obtained by Adrian Wojnarowski, the league explains the guest policy for playoff teams inside the bubble. Now, this is after the first round. The NBA is requiring players to provide, quote, proof of long-standing relationships if it is a non-family member that you want to bring in. Potential guests, quote, known by the player only through social media or an intermediary are not allowed. Each second-round playoff team has been allocated 17 total hotel rooms for guests. They can split that up among the players and coaches. The earliest guest could clear quarantine and join players is August 31st. So again, that is the end of the first round. So Amin, no one from Instagram. They might as well just put that in the memo. Is this something, nothing, or everything?
Well, Rachel, I was going to go nothing, but then I changed my mind and I said something, because here's the deal. You know there's going to be at least one person who will try to push the boundaries on this rules. And maybe, well, I met him through Instagram, but we've been good friends for so long. Here's a tweet from us between each other from 2013. Doesn't that count for something? Who are we to judge the matters of the heart? And so I'm just waiting to find out who the first person to push the boundaries on this rule will be.
For those reasons, I'm going with nothing, because whoever needs to get in the bubble for the player to optimize their performance will get the right resume to get in the bubble. As long as the quarantine process is observed and the number of people entering are still limited, we should all be okay. Now, the WNBA has had guests this whole time, and they are under the same protocol as the players. So as long as the guest observes the protocol, I think we'll be fine. But this is something to read into just because we know the nature of what goes down on social media.
You know what, it's funny? I'm going to take a quick pause from our poking fun at the NBA here for the no Instagram rule to say that, Chiney, I was so impressed with the way the WNBA Players Association worked with the league to negotiate that. I know that Candace Parker, for an example, has had her daughter with her in the bubble the entire time. Those relationships are so important. Obviously, Candace is her daughter's primary parent, and the idea that she would then have to be away from her daughter for months at a time just to do her job. The fact that you guys were able to navigate that and figure out a way to keep everyone safe, because everyone in the bubble is turning back negative tests, but it was super impressive, and I think that deserves a little bit of its own shout.
Thanks, President Chiney.
It was Zooms on Zooms on
Now
Zooms.
we can get back to the Instagram hotties. And I will say, look, I don't know what the NBA is going to require as proof of a long-standing relationship. I might not want to see some of that. I do agree, though, that, look, if someone goes through the quarantine process, and it is not insignificant, if you are the player guest, you should be allowed to come. I'm just saying. So we'll see who shows up here in the second round.
Agreed.
All right, guys, next up in our little game here, despite not physically being able to play home games, quote, home teams. This is fascinating to me, guys. Home teams are 41-32 inside of the bubble. That is a winning percentage of around 56%. That's pretty much the same as it is for traditional home teams this season prior to the shutdown. So everyone's talking about, oh, there's no home court advantage here. I guess it doesn't really matter where you get seated. That is not true so far, and I know it's small sample size theater, but teams like the Celtics, Pacers, and Suns, they're all 3-0. At home. The Rockets are 2-0 at home. Chiney, is this something, nothing, or everything for teams jockeying for home court advantage in the playoffs?
I think it's kind of nothing, just because we're talking about the bubble and the wubble. And I talked to my sister yesterday, and she said that home court, what it feels like is just who gets their names announced first before the tip. The rest is up to you. So I think the cool part is that even though it may feel like nothing to the athletes competing, it feels like everything to us, because I will never forget with this crazy, unprecedented situation, Kyle Kuzma's shot felt like we were there. And so for the NBA and the WNBA to create a scenario where we felt like we were there, even though we're not, and the players may feel a little different, I'm thoroughly impressed with the product, and I'm thoroughly impressed with the process that put this all in place.
Yeah, Chiney's right. From an entertainment standpoint, for all of us at home, it is something. But for the players and for actual basketball, it is no thing, ladies and gentlemen. No thing, nothing. Because here's the deal. Even the crowd noise that they have piped in there is not reactive crowd noise. Think about this. When a guy fouls out for the home team, you don't hear the fans boo. When a guy goes to the free throw line, you don't hear the fans go crazy on the replays. And so for that reason, it's nice to see those video boards, but let's be real. None of the players are looking up and say, wow, that's a lot of red shirts from the other team. I feel intimidated. No, more likely than that is that the good teams are winning at home.
Well,
and
look,
the Suns
I don't know. I have players all the time tell me I like it when I get heckled. It fuels me. So maybe the NBA does want to put some booing in when the, quote, visiting team starts to foul out or something like that.
More
I
booing.
will say from being at floor level in the arena for some of these games, it's been kind of stages, right? So during the early scrimmages, they did not pipe the crowd noise into the building. It was just piped onto TV. And you could hear every squeak of the sneakers, and the players, because it was silent when they were taking those free throws, they said it was completely weird. Some guys said it even threw them off how quiet it was. So then midway through the scrimmages, they started piping in the crowd noise. Sometimes it was too loud. Through these seeding games, though, they've really honed it. And there have been times that I've been sitting there in the building watching play, and you hear the cheer at the exact right time and sort of with the sort of level of volume that you expect. And I do have to do a double take to remember there's not actually fans there. So I don't think that the players are tricked or anything, but I do think that when you are so in the moment and so focused on the game and you hear the fans kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing with that hush or wave of noise in your ear, I don't think in the moment they're thinking, oh, that's fake. I think it just sort of feeds into their whole experience. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.